the host of Wall Street Week, David Westin, who joins us every day at this time. And David, I think today we're going to be talking a little bit about venture capital and specifically a big company out there in Israel.
Yeah, in the Middle East, something a little different here. We've heard these stories that maybe a deal with Saudi Arabia and Israel and the United States. And so we went to really one of the leaders in venture capital over in Israel. He's Jon Medved, founder and CEO of OurCrowd, and said, if in fact this went forward, how big a deal would it be for that region and for his business?
It's an incredibly historic manifestation of the promise that was really unleashed with the beginning of the Abraham Accords. As soon as we made peace with the first four, the thought I had was that this was something akin to the dropping of the Iron Curtain, literally as important. I called it the Sand Curtain, and predicted that this was obviously going to open up and include sooner rather than later the Saudis. And I've been traveling back and forth to the kingdom. I'm very impressed by what's going on there in terms of the development of venture capital culture, both as investors, but more importantly, as startup people and creating technology. And once this goes all the way, and I think you have to listen to the Crown Prince when he says that we're getting closer to this normalization day by day. And in fact, this week we're seeing an Israeli minister openly being recognized and celebrated in Riyadh at a tourism conference, with two other ministers now scheduled to go, a Saudi representative visiting openly Israel and the West Bank. We're getting there, and this is really going to change everything.
Assuming this all goes forward, as we hope it does, are there particular sectors that are high up on the shopping list, as it were? Is it AI? Because certainly here in the United States, all we hear about is venture capital going into AI, artificial intelligence. Is it cybersecurity? What are the areas that are ripe for investment and joint venture?
Well, those are two really good ones to start with. AI is everything. For example, at OurCrowd, we're invested in 81 different AI companies, where we've just launched an AI fund. And if you look at, that's the one brightest area of venture capital investing, where people are investing not just in, open AI and ChatGPT, but Anthropic and other companies. We have a company called Halo. We're making sort of edge accelerators like an NVIDIA series accelerator, but much cheaper and smaller. So that's going to clearly be a focus for the Saudis. They believe in it. But cybersecurity is obviously front and center. Israel is a world center for this. 40 cents of every dollar invested in cybersecurity globally is invested in Israel. So I expect there'll be cooperation in that area, but it goes way beyond. And that's one of the neat things about how broad this is. I think there'll be smart cities, especially when you look at what the Saudis are doing in Neom on the Red Sea coast, where they're building this incredible project of hundreds of billions of dollars, where it's probably going to be one of the most advanced infrastructures anywhere, and great technology there, technology and mobility. We're already co-invested with with Saudi family offices in mobility companies. And by the way, you should not neglect the fact that the Saudis are not just sovereign wealth investors, but also tremendous individual and family office and other institutional investors there as well. It will be in food security, in agriculture, in climate, in renewable energy, which obviously is high on the Saudi list. So it's almost financial technology, fintech. It's hard to find an area that Israel and the Saudis, I think, will not cooperate in.
This possibility has come about in part because of a shift in policy of the Biden administration. President Biden came in, was not very friendly to Saudi Arabia. There's been a shift. And for those of us in the United States, it's looked in part because China has come in. And there's a little bit of a competition, it feels like right now, between China and the United States. Do you expect that in Saudi Arabia, that there will be an ongoing competition between China on the one hand and the United States on the other?
Look, I think we're living in a very complicated world where competition is simply part of nature. And the competition between East and West is not going to end anytime soon. And clearly, Saudi Arabia is a critical sort of centerpiece in this. But what we see is the ability with the Saudis to reach markets that we'll never get to otherwise. I mean, what's going to happen in my prediction, once we get this done, inshallah, God willing, as we say, you'll see Indonesia follow suit. And that's 275 million people, the world's largest Muslim country. You'll see Malaysia follow suit. You'll see Israel being able to access markets in the ASEAN and in South Asia that it could never get to. And we'll do it together in partnerships. So the idea of working together and not just one side investing in the other, but mutual investments mean we've already proven the model in what we're doing in the UAE. We announced recently a $60 million co-investment project with ADIO, the Abu Dhabi investment office, where we're developing AI technology in Abu Dhabi. And we look forward to making that model work, because that's what will build really strong long-term ties between the kingdom and Israel, and then helping to integrate the larger region.